Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, mass protests in the Czech Republic and Prague, the capital. And they are in support of Ukraine and in support of self-flagellation and I would say masochism. But it's okay, we all are a little bit masochistic in our nature and more or less, but we all have it. So let's see. This article comes from Associated Press and it is from October 30th, 2022. Tens of thousands of Czechs show their support for Ukraine. Okay, let's see. Prague. Tens of thousands of Czechs gathered in the capital on Sunday to demonstrate their solidarity with Ukraine and their support for, listen to this, democratic values. Okay, what are democratic values? I would like to hear. The rally took place in reaction to 3 recent anti-government demonstrations where other protesters demanded the resignation of the pro-Western coalition government of Conservative Prime Minister Petr Fiala for its support for Ukraine. And high inflation and lower standards of living and high price in energy. Okay, so hey, Associated Press, you have amnesia? I don't think so. I think you know all that, but you just avoid saying it. You just want to portray this group as being just bad dudes. Those earlier rallies also protested soaring energy prices and opposed the country's membership in the European Union and NATO. That's true. The organizers of the earlier rallies are known for spreading Russia propaganda and opposing COVID-19 vaccinations. So this guy gives us, they are known for spreading. How? Okay, you don't provide it, you just tell us as it's a fact. Well, I challenge that. Because I can say, no, these guys here actually are paid supporters. Paid by, I don't know, let's say Soros, let's say by our other NGOs, maybe by the US Secretary of State, well, maybe by CIA. The way you claim these kind of things without providing evidence, you're a human being. You still have to make the claims and you have to support them with evidence. It doesn't mean that if you work for Associated Press, you have somehow a free pass in telling us whatever you tell us, okay? But that's the way it goes. With that statement, they labeled those guys, okay? Now, we have here, and let's go what's going further. I already conflated in the same sentence the Russian propaganda and the COVID-19 vaccination in the same sentence. That means like they're somehow correlated. But they target a certain segment of the society, the ones below 86 IQ, not you and I, which certainly we are geniuses right here, okay? So we don't fall for that. That's the easiest way to have propaganda work on people like us who think that, no man, propaganda doesn't work on us. We are the best subjects for that. The people who turned out Sunday in Prague, and it's not according to me, it's according with about 7 books I read on propaganda, and I'm not here to, you know what, but anyway. And the best one I ever read about that, it's called Propaganda, obviously, is that red one over there. You see the red one over there? Or the pink, whatever it is? Right there, over there? That's by Jacques Ellul, 1964, 1962. That's a fantastic book. I recommend it. I pay for it, just to have it, so you can have it. Just kidding. No, I would, really. It's that good, the book. I underline books when I read, or I make little signs on the side of the page. That book is all underlined. I couldn't believe how much I got out of that. It's like a, I don't know, educational manual. It's fantastic. Anyway, the people who turned out Sunday in Prague waved the Czech, Ukrainian and EU flags while displaying slogans that read, "Czech Republic against fear and we will manage it." Okay, you can manage it, but can you make me manage to? Because your decisions are going to affect me. I don't want to go through that. I don't want to sacrifice. Could you please give me back my money and you can pay the money to whomever? Can I have that? Please? No? Okay, so I have to go to hell because you say so. That's a democratic system, right? And value. Sunday's rally at Center Venceslas Square was organized by a group called Million Moments for Democracy. Oh my God, that's so sweet. Which was behind several rallies in support of Ukraine following the February 24th Russian invasion. The group also previously held massive rallies against the former Prime Minister, populist billionaire Andrei Babiš, calling him a threat for democracy. The group said the anti-government protests, which united the far right with the far left, first time when I hear far left, but because those dudes are supposed to be worse than they are, according to Associated Press, they gave them the far before the left. Because usually you see now, you have Bolsonaro and Lula. Bolsonaro in Brazil, the runoff elections, right now. I want to make a video on that. Now, Bolsonaro is called far right, and Lula, who's a communist, 100%, he's called leftist. See? But here, why? Because they root for Lula, not for Bolsonaro. So Bolsonaro is pushed far right, but Lula is brought from far left communism to leftist. Like, oh, somewhere on the left. The same here. They want to portray those groups that are on the left because they are against, these guys are against them. Going to push them a little bit, so they're going to call them far left, and the far right goes without saying they're far right. So that's the way it works. You don't believe me? Just do like this. When you see this kind of things, like he's called a leftist or a far right, just check his inclination. Just check on your own, not what these guys, their labels. Just check on your own. Just 2-3 clicks, a little bit of mental energy. You get in and you find out that who's who, what's what. And then after you realize, you're going to see a pattern. If you pay attention and you have memory, which you do, just use it or use them. And you're going to figure out the pattern, the one that I just told you right now. They need it, they push it far left. They don't need it, bring it from far left into leftist. Far right, always a far right. Sometimes brought back when it works for them. Watch that. So, Ukraine's First Lady, who cares? Olena Zelenska, oh my God, all this is with Z, thanked those at the rally in a video message. She said her country has been facing the darkest moments in its history, but added hope that Russia's aggression won't succeed. Has been facing the darkest moments in history. I think she's I'm gonna be nice. Not red. She's a person with no knowledge of history. Obviously. Why? Because if has been the darkest times or whatever, she ignores many other instances when the Czech people were in worse situations. So the fact that this person comes, I mean, as I said, I can come out here and make a fool of myself. But it's me. I make a fool of myself, okay? Sometimes knowingly, sometimes unknowingly. But it's me. Well, it's my right. Now, she comes in front of this and sends her message without knowing that she makes a fool of herself. So she's doing it unknowingly. You and I know that she's, again, be nice, not knowledgeable. Whew, that was hard to find, because I had like 3 other words I would have used, but they were being like kind of rude. But I just wanted to be nice, I don't know, for whatever reason. Probably because it's Sunday and it's the Lord's Day. Oh, one Lord only. Okay, not 2 of them, just 1. So here we have it. She comes and says, this has been to the darkest. No, the darkest were many years back and many instances for the Czech people. Zakharova, Zaratova, Zorona, Zelenskaya, whatever you are. Okay? So I don't have any doubts that there are people supporting the war in Ukraine. Yes, there are many. You know why? Because they watch mainstream media. And that's a very, very powerful medium, or media, as you say, medium, to make people follow a certain direction. That's the first, that's one. It's not the first one, it's the second requirement. The first requirement is to have a very low IQ and be a follower. That means don't think for yourself. And with the mass media, it's like you go to school. Yes, teacher, 1 + 1 is 5. Yes. Okay, thank you. So that's the way it is. So those people do not pass that level. They might look at you and I, not so cool as we are, but they look as adults. But their brains are there. Okay? That's where they are. How you figure it out? Because they say certain things in a certain way. And when you ask questions, ask people questions and see how they reach that conclusion. And when you corner them because they will not have more than one answer, then we'll start calling you names. That means shut up, I don't want to talk about it. Why? Because you got me. All right? So that's how it works. They can support that. The problem is they should continue shooting themselves in the foot. I don't want to do that. But you have a social contract, supposedly, right, with other members of the society. And you somehow sign it. You can change it in a democratic way like the other ones showed up and say, we're against that guy. We don't like those guys, we want them out. Okay, that's beautiful, that's a vibrant, dynamic society. When you have the right to say whatever you feel and however you feel and demand whatever you demand, as long as you're not a violent person or you don't threaten anyone. That's beautiful. Very good Czech Republic. No fights, no Gucci stores looted, nothing like that. You're just different. So, good, vibrant. The problem is the majority is the easiest way to maneuver and channel towards where you want to go. Why? Because the first reason I mentioned with, remember? That's the first requirement. And the other one is courage. Without courage, even if you think of it, you will not act upon it. So there are many of us, when in certain circumstances we know is wrong, we would like to change that, but you're afraid. Or we are afraid. I will include myself in it as well. Many times when I was afraid to act, and I will be probably in the future afraid to act, even knowing that my actions are on the right side of the moment. But I'm afraid. Why? Consequences. So yeah, the courage. You have to have the courage. Sometimes, you can't muster the courage to act. It's understandable. The problem is those guys that I was mentioning, they have the same attitude as children. They want someone to tell them what to do, to care for them, the government in this case, and they are the followers. And whenever they see someone who's an independent thinker or acts courageously, they feel threatened because their little harmonious kindergarten time, la la la, I'm okay, someone else is taking care of me, good or bad, that is threatened. And they have to start thinking for themselves, and they have to start planning, fighting, getting involved in their own lives. And they're lazy. They're lazy, not courageous, which is coward, and dumb. And they can protest, they can, but ask them questions. You don't have to say, no, that's not so. Ask them questions. Use the Socratic method. Socratic it's called, I think. Socratic method. Why? Okay, why? Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? Why is that? Why? And then what? And then what? And you find out that they don't have more than the first answer after that. Why is this good? Because it's good. Why? Boof, first answer. And why is that? I don't know. CNN did not tell me. That's what. And then you are like this. You are like this. You should not do. You should not talk. You should not be alone. You're phobic, monic, bolic, babalong, ist, and phobic. You know what an ist is and a phobic. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.